Join me as I take on the challenge of being completely still for 30 minutes to see if I can truly find my Christian peace. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life. We're constantly bombarded with notifications, distractions, and stressors that can leave us feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and disconnected from our faith. But as Christians, we're called to live differently. We're called to live a life of peace, a life that's characterized by trust, hope, and love. So, what does it mean to have Christian peace, and how can we cultivate it in our lives? Anxiety is a major obstacle to finding peace. When we're anxious, our minds are racing, our hearts are pounding, and it's hard to focus on anything except our fears and worries. And let's be honest, there's a lot to be anxious about. From politics to pandemics, there's no shortage of things that can keep us up at night. But as Christians, we're not called to live in a state of anxiety. We're called to live in a state of peace, even in the midst of chaos. Another major obstacle to finding peace is distractions. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with notifications, social media, and other digital distractions that can keep us from focusing on what really matters. And when we're distracted, we're not able to connect with God in the way that we should. We're not able to hear His voice, to feel His presence, or to experience His peace. In addition to anxiety and distractions, many of us struggle with spiritual disconnect. We know we should be spending time with God, but we're not sure how or why. We feel disconnected from our faith, and we're not sure how to get back on track. And when we're disconnected from God, we're not able to experience the peace that He offers. As we struggle to find peace in our lives, it's easy to feel like we're alone. But the truth is, we're not alone. Scripture is full of examples of people who struggled to find peace, from David to Paul to Jesus himself. And yet, in the midst of their struggles, they found a way to trust in God, to lean on Him, and to experience His peace. One of my favorite passages of Scripture is Psalm 46:10, which says, "Be still, and know that I am God." This verse is a powerful reminder that peace is not something we can manufacture on our own. It's not something we can earn or deserve. Rather, it's a gift that comes from God, and it's available to us when we're still and quiet before Him. So, how can we incorporate moments of stillness into our daily lives? One way is to start our day with prayer and meditation. Take a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, to focus on your breath, and to pray. Ask God to fill you with His peace, and to quiet your anxious heart. Another way is to take a walk outside. Nature has a way of calming our minds and soothing our souls. Take a few minutes to walk outside, to breathe in the fresh air, and to focus on God's creation. For me, the most pivotal moment in my journey towards Christian peace came when I realized that I didn't have to be in control. I didn't have to have all the answers, and I didn't have to be the one who fixed everything. When I let go of my need for control, I was able to experience a depth of peace that I had never known before. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I was finally able to breathe. As I sat in stillness, I realized that God was big enough to handle everything. He was big enough to handle my fears, my worries, and my doubts. And when I trusted in Him, I was able to experience a peace that surpassed all understanding. It was like nothing I had ever felt before, and it changed my life forever. In conclusion, finding Christian peace is not about escaping the chaos of the world. It's about learning to navigate the chaos with faith, trust, and hope. It's about being still, and knowing that God is God. As we've explored in this video, finding peace requires us to let go of our anxiety, distractions, and spiritual disconnect. It requires us to trust in God, to lean on Him, and to experience His peace. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever struggled to find peace in your life? What are some practical tips that have helped you to experience God's peace? Leave a comment below, and be sure to check out my other videos on related topics for further inspiration.